We're going to draw a kitchen with cabn8. First, we'll start with our floor plan. We're going to make it 5 meters wide and 4 meters deep. We're going to give them thickness.
Then we'll make a group of that. We'll give it a name. Then we'll take the...
We're making the walls, so I'll select the outer edge of this and offset 150, then remove that line and that 2.5 meters. This was for the small kitchen. We'll make another group from it and we'll give it a name again.
Walls. I believe I completely overlooked that very important point, I think.
The floor, then we can reuse this floor once again.
That is the ceiling. And you place it on its own ceiling. It automatically goes away since it's off in the work folder.
So in the other views, he'll be back in a moment. Now we're actually going to start laying out our walls and our cabinet. We'll begin with an 18 unit filler piece. From the bottom, 100 for the skirting board, 78 for the cabinet, 600 between the cabinets, and then from the top also 100.
On both then the wall cabinets, their measurements are 102 centimeters, and another 102, one panel of 18, and the rest I won't be needing.
Then for the depth, we'll set this here to 700.
And when he reached 68,
66, 4 centimeters back. Alright, so now we'll have a low section here. And over here are tall cabinets. So what we're essentially doing now is opening the library. And here you're basically looking for your first cabinet. In this case, there's a base cabinet with 2 doors. We're going to position them right here at this specific point. Then 66 units forward.
and then we'll enter that measurement in.
Let's just put that back for a moment. Okay, so the width of that cabinet is 600. The depth was 66 and the height 78.
So, our very first cabinet is now standing here. Next to it, we're going to place a base cabinet equipped with 4 drawers. So, we'll grab this one, and I'm just going to quickly jump to this specific view so that I don't have any doors obstructing it. That way it will be much easier to position it correctly. The width for that is 72.1 and the depth is 66.
And the height is 78 centimeters.
I can still get some use out of that cabinet. Let's say we'll do the further layout later, so you can also stay in this one and go into your text. And here, I'll remove the text from the fronts. This is my storage for all the fronts, then they'll be gone too. What else do I need now? A flap door, a cabinet with a flap door. And he's trying to save them, but they're all getting past him. Yes, this is the one.
That one is 400 units deep, so it will come out 400 units to the front. And the overall width of that was 102.1. And the height, that adjustment of minus 100, it just didn't work out right. So 100 units downwards, and that's what I'm considering my height.
47.5, 47.5.
Here I want my doors to extend downwards, so I'll reattach the front panels, and then these doors must protrude from the bottom. So we'll go to the floor below setting. I'm going to select 40 millimeters.
On the key 40, because a finishing panel will be installed at the bottom here shortly. So then I can effectively just copy that cabinet again.
And then reuse it.
Now, a cabinet without doors is coming along.
It's located here, but 40 positions forward.
That the tablet is running right up against it. Then I still need to know what the exact height is. It's 185, yes, 185, and the width is 68.6.
And the depth is 700. That's the current measurement.
So that solid ground, I must have it here at 174.5.
Yes, and I don't need to have any shelves underneath. You can move this bottom section 20 units to the rear, and that other one should also go 20 units back. No, not in that particular way, because along this edge, another component will be added.
Tall cabinets with shelves. Then we'll take a look at the base cabinets. The base cabinet, that's this one right here. It also clicks into place at that specific point, and this one then needs to move 20 units towards the back. The width of it is 400. The depth is 68, yes, 68, and the height is 184. The same applies.
And the door opens on the right side. We can still make good use of that cabinet.
This one only needs to be 200 units wide, and then because there were pipes running directly behind this, its maximum width can only be 600 units, for example.
And then we shouldn't have shelves.
Then we're going to finish up the work. So we'll take our specific fitting piece, and from behind here, the single visible side will be positioned. The side that is supposed to be visible needs to be positioned over here. After that, we will need to rotate it into place.
And then 20 units forward and 10 units down.
Still need to input the measurements. The height was 2 meters and 6, so that's 206, and the depth was 70, so 71. It will go a bit into the wall and ceiling. We can always adjust that.
In addition to this, there will be a clear separation.
He needs that there.
So these also need to be rotated again. You see that there is the wrong side, and this one here is the correct side. And now we just have to carefully place it in the right position. This particular piece can come all the way up to that mark, and then finally we can accurately measure its full length.
126.8.
and the height was 100, so we'll have to make it 110.
Is high enough.
So this particular side, I want it to extend all the way up to the ceiling, which means it needs to be 10 centimeters longer. I'll simply go ahead and adjust the length, 196.
And then it goes up into the ceiling. So then we can actually reuse that particular piece right here once more. And then something else for the wall.
To measure the length, 2 meters and 58. Let's make it 2 meters and 60. There.
Another filler piece will go here and also a filler piece right here. I'm going to quickly remove the rough construction so that I can install my plinths.
Got cabinet legs? That's also fine, of course.
The depth of it, I'm thinking perhaps we should go with 65. No, I believe that's actually a little bit too much. Let's just make it 60.
And then the measure.
It came from the library. It's the same length as the existing panels. So typically you would only need to shorten it, but something isn't quite right here. 2 meters and 422042.
We should be heading towards the right side, but then we'll probably also have to deal with that other thing. Yes, that's right.
This one will have to pass through on the left side.
Then I can use that one again.
It is right there.
That simply won't go through.
And that specific length is 26.
Then we're only going to place ourselves here. So we have either a single piece or a double fitting. Therefore, I'll just take a double fitting. The length of was 78 and the top joint is 4 millimeters. Underneath the panel, it can also be 50 wide. I just need to mirror it. It's 50 centimeters wide again, so it will go a bit into the wall, and then this adapter piece can also be used up above.
On that small point.
Okay.
And that was 47.5 exactly.
On the top side we had 0 and on the bottom side we had 40. So these are the pieces that we'll use for fitting. Now we still need to place a panel underneath here. So then you can simply grab the panel. Under. And then 30 of them over here, because he's got something in the wall.
And now we'll measure the length back to that position.
2 meters, 72.
At a depth of 400.
So that is correct. Do you want to install another LED in here, or perhaps a down cap? All of that is possible as well. So then a cap. No VPure line, the mini model for instance, can essentially be placed right in here. First, you would simply place it down for a moment, then you would pick it back up again, and then you would locate the precise center point of that small door, for example. And that's the general idea of how it operates.
Here, another tablet.
Tablet.
All right then, that really needs to go right there.
30 past and it seems I'm taking too long again. Have I lost track of that custom-made item? It's 2 meters and 72 centimeters. That's 2072 and it's 700 with a thickness of 30.
My sink can be installed right here.
I'll put a marker down here for a moment, then take it back and then find the center point on that door. Cooktop.
In this cooktop.
Is it possible for him to come here? That is completely wrong.
Go back 60.
And then horizontally on that cabinet. And then we can also still adjust that cooktop if, for example, it's only 600 wide.
Then we can still make those cutouts.
And now you can still see the small stem of the cabinet here. Mm-hmm. So we can also take that out. So at this point, it's standing upright. Currently the hinge is still obstructing the path. Then I suppose we'll specify a distance of over 250. Yes, in that case, the hinge will simply pass underneath. And with that, we've essentially completed the drawing of our kitchen. We just need one more fitting piece here. So this can actually just go into the cabinet and then we can grab a casing or a panel. I'll now grab the casing and manually set these dimensions.
I'll just make it brief and to the point for now.
The current measurement for the height is 10.5. You'll need to adjust that to 11.5.
10 soaking bags.
And then the ideal length.
65.
There you go.
So at this point, we have essentially completed the drawing of our kitchens. If I press this button right here, our walls will then reappear. All the divisions are standard, they're all included. So the shelf is currently blocking the extractor hood. So we could also just get the extractor hood as a shell. So then we're actually, we could also start with the colors.
So if we say,
what color should the cabinet fronts be? Everything is currently set to the primary option, so I'll quickly proceed to the material section. To the cabinet colors, specifically the sheet material options.
And the plain.
As for the exterior surfaces, the interior surfaces, we're simply going to paint white.
Okay, so we have 2000, and then we need to subtract 90 from that total. Where exactly is he supposed to be?
And then our tablet is the actual Type 3 model. Type 3, and we still need to replace this one, so we'll replace that with this. You'll see it's already happening in the drawing.
So our little kitchen is actually finished now. Are you saying that cabinet also needs to be completely brown? Then we'll go to the settings for that cabinet. And then you also switch this cabinet material to primary. If you only want the side panels, you change them there.
So it's normal now.
Our own drawing.
Still have to put a little bit of color on the floor.
Yes.
And the walls, maybe. So,
Is it possible for us to take some photos of that?
Make it a little smaller.
What is this thing doing here? Are you supposed to take that one?
That's something we have, for example. Then we create an image from it. You can save that.
first image.
I can of course do more settings, but I'm not doing it right now for the video. Here we go. I'm now turning off the fronts here, so that's essentially just picture 2.
We'll get that image right.
Then I'll just take the second photo of it.
That's perfectly fine, and it also comes with a QR code. Could you perhaps also create a QR code for it, so they can be included there? But this is essentially our plan right now, so now we just need to get everything in order. So that is our first 3D image. We don't really need those anymore, because we have rendering now. Then we'll move on to our front view. We're gonna update that particular one, update the front view, but without the front element. Wait, you need to have this specific part. That stands nicely in the middle. Update. Update. We don't have a side view for the top view. We only need to update that specific part. The pedestal remains the same. We need an update. Where are the pedestals located? Do we have to search for them in the text? The cabinet components are currently switched off. Over there you can see the plinths and update. Next we'll take a look at our cross sections. We have cross section number 1, 2, 3 and 4. That still looks reasonably good. Number 5, however, has been rotated. And 6 needs to be there and also rotated. So then we have our cross sections, one through the cabinets below and one through the cabinets above. That one can perhaps be a little bit higher. Then we'll move on to our first one.
Here's an update and a second update. Then we will proceed to examine the cross sections from our initial.
Select these cabinets, update, second cabinet, update, third cabinet, update, fourth cabinet, update, and the fifth cabinet was reversed. That's the left one then.
Put it back center.
And to get it updated, and then the very last one too.
Update. So by this point you should have essentially completed all of your planning. File, save as.
Do a click test.
Save it. We are now going to send this to layout.
So now we're going to make a selection for a layout, our template. You'd normally get this. We're going to use the renders now, so here we can just take a quick look. We'll turn off the 3D drawings, they are located behind it, and then we'll move on to the document. Setup. These are the references we used, so those are our renders. I want 3D image 1 and I'm replacing it with image 2. So these are the two, actually we won't be needing those. So these are our renders. Here you can also input project names and other relevant information. Then you will see 3D image number 1. This particular one can now be taken away. The 3D drawings can also be discarded once more. 3D image number 2, that one can also go. And the drawings are also switched off again. You also get that ready for yourself beforehand. If it's the other way around, then the renders are off and your 3D image is displayed. So then we have our front, the front view without the front, the side view, we didn't need that. No, side view without the front, not that either. We had a top view and a plinth, a cut at 60, one at 150, then the cross sections of the cabinet. And here you can actually see the pre-drilled holes for the drawers. The pre-drilled holes for the drawer fronts are all the bottom marks. And here you'll find the holes for the hinges, so you can now go ahead and dimension all of these. From the front view you can, for example, start numbering them right here. That would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6 if that should be necessary.
You can also set the measurements. So, maybe we should try to get a top-down perspective here.
I took the exterior part, the cover.
As far as you want.
So these are essentially your 2D plans for its actual creation.
We are now going to return. I will save that specific 7. Save as.
Kitchen appliance test.
Save, so in principle the layout isn't really necessary anymore. Now we're back inside our SketchUp file, and here we're actually going to redraw everything so it recalculates all of the dimensions. That's all done. Then you can go and generate the report. You can just let that continue running and then download it. We're going to save this document, not open it. Then we can also get rid of that one. And now we're actually going to proceed.
Don't want to open Excel.
You need to load the correct CSV file. And now you have all the pieces here for that project. So if we're still going to decide here which panel we want to use for the sides, we had the solid color in mind for the finishing.
Fronts.
We had a door, for example, in a single solid color, and for the side panels, also a single solid color. And then we also have an additional panel. Type 4 is the plinth, which is made of plywood. And then next in line, we're presenting our new tablet. This is the Type 3 model. There's no tablet going in there right now. If you say the grain direction for my material needs to run the other way for certain doors, you can easily switch this. So then it will adjust the length accordingly, and it will also take that into account precisely in the cutting lists. Now we're going to see how many plates you need. So here are the plates. How many plates of what you currently need? The unique ones, the 30 tablet versions, we haven't been able to find, so we can always generate them in our library. The furniture fittings, what's in that drawing, including the price and potentially how long you work on it, and your profit margins are kept the same, so you can save them here again. You assign a price to it, the cabinets that are in it, possibly cabinet doors and any appliances that might be included. You say you have a recommended price, for example, a tablet. If we do this just one time and that costs, for example, 500 euros, we then have a 10% profit, and I would spend about 60 minutes working on that, for instance. So then we get to calculating hours. Here you set how long you'll work for each piece and for how many meters, how fast you'll work, for example. Then we have our overview. Then you'll see what the selling price here might be based on your materials and the order list. That material didn't come with it. Okay. I said to order the sliding sheet material overviews. Yes, that's it. So here it says check price list. That was a 30 thick panel.
And then possibly the drawers. Everything you can order, you can export. Do you want to go to now?
A two-dimensional optimization, so I typically use a cut list.
Export.
Microsoft Excel.
Are we going to open the cut list still?
This is where I import that one.
This one.
Here, start putting together the honor list.
And if the record's in the library,
you know how to cut your panels, as you can see here. Now, if I have 4 panels, you can always adjust your thinking to, I need 4 panels for this, so these must be 4. If you say you can manage with 3 here,
Can you say here that 3 is also okay? He's going to take that over then.
so that was drawing the small cooking area.
Have you been to the clients now? And the client says, I only want 2 drawers here instead of 4. Then you can simply remove those. You go into the library.
We need to search the drawers.
2 on top of each other, he throws them in.
She takes over the measuring.
What to do?
We're just going to check if all the visual elements are still in the right place. They usually are, but it's always good to double check. And then we'll go ahead and save all of that. And then we'll head right back to our main layout. This is the specific layout we were just working on.
And now he's saying right here that it is out of date. So if you're telling us that we should update it.
And then that can be officially closed.
So right here, you can now clearly see all of the modifications you've made. Your 2D plan is now fully up to date again. Perhaps just a few more measurements need adjusting, but it should normally be completely finished now. That's all for this video.